Ninjala, a game I still get confused with Lego Ninjago. Also a game in which its developers did not have any idea how big its player base would become on launch. A game that has a lot of potential, but just like its multiplayer servers, it falls short in many ways. Hello, this is Legit Brick, and the open beta for Ninjala is out. This game was highly anticipated by many, and we get to be the first to play its beta a month before its scheduled release. And in this video, I'm going to summarize my thoughts on the experience I had playing the game. The first thing I would like to say about the game is that its developers were not expecting its servers to be overrun by players. Unfortunately, this is exactly what happened. Just an hour after the beta launched, its servers began to fill up, and the game crashed for all players globally. The servers stayed down for a few more hours until Gung Ho was able to fix it. So I had to wait quite a bit before I could play the game. And once I finally got to play the game, I was very intrigued by the style the game had going for it. But my experience didn't last very long, because the servers decided to fail once again, about 90 minutes after I began to play. Fortunately, this game is relatively simple, and I have already been able to formulate my opinions on its style and gameplay. I have to say, this game looked quite a bit cooler from its trailers than it does to actually play. It has a very similar style to Splatoon, but in my opinion, it does it worse. Personally, I think its graphics look like something you would find playing an app game on your phone. They aren't bad, I just think that the characters look too oversaturated. I do appreciate the style they are going for though, as I do like the style of Splatoon. I just wish that the game could be more creative with its art, and do something we haven't seen yet. But I'm not someone to turn down a game based on its graphics alone. What I really care about is the core gameplay. As soon as I first loaded up the game, I was stuck in a waiting lobby for about 10 minutes. The game would continually tell me it couldn't find players for me to fight. Which this was a shock to me, seeing as the servers kept getting overrun, so I assumed finding opponents would be very easy. So I don't know what that says about the level of preparation Gung Ho put into their beta, if the servers kept having too many players, but yet I still couldn't find any players to fight. I typically don't mind waiting for my games to start, but I would like if there would be more stuff to do in the waiting lobby. Right now, all I can do in my waiting time is beat up an AI enemy who doesn't fight me back. I think that the long waiting times could be more bearable if there was more to do, such as small mini-games or enemies that I could actually fight. Once I got into a match, I was surprised at how basic the gameplay was. All you had to do was run around fighting 7 other players with one main attack and charge up your special meter. Also, I would like to take a moment to point out the fact that I won my first game. One major problem I had with the gameplay was how spammy it felt. It felt like all I had to do to win a fight was hit a player once and just continue to hit the same button until they died. There was no combination of buttons to be made, it was just land your first attack and let the game win for you. Although there is something satisfying about beating up enemies with a pool noodle sword, it does get boring after a little while. But this could have been due to everyone being a new player and not being very good at the game. Maybe there is a way to dodge out of combos, but I wouldn't know because of how unclear the controls are. As soon as you launch up the game, it gives you a tutorial on the basic controls. You are taught how to attack, jump, move, and use your special. Very basic things only. There were many times through my games where I had no clue what certain icons on screen meant, and there was one annoying sound that would play ever so often. As much as I tried to understand what the noise meant, I couldn't figure it out, and instead I just got bothered by it every time it would go off. I also don't like the way your super does so much damage. I feel like I can 2-tap any player once I fully have charged my gum ability. It doesn't feel very balanced, and I would like to see the game be a little bit harder in the future. Even though I have all those negative thoughts on the game, I can see this game having so much potential as it gets updated and tested more. I would love to see a story mode where you fight hordes of enemies to achieve some goal. At its core, this game feels like a hack and slash to me. Its controls are very smooth, and I can see this working very well in a story mode. But for some reason they decided to call it a battle royale game. So I don't know if they plan to do any other game modes in the future, but in order for me to buy a full version of the game, it must include other modes than Battle Royale. I definitely am excited to see what the developers do with this game. And I guess this is what betas are for, right? Betas let companies know how their games function so they can make the necessary improvements to make the game something great. Well, that is all for my thoughts on the Ninjala beta. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure to let me know in the comments, and please consider subscribing to the channel. I hope you will stick around for the next video.